Our game for today is Red Rogue. As you might be able to tell from the name, this is a roguelike. You are a thief sort of person, exploring a giant underground dungeon full of traps and monsters that want to kill you. And it's very hard. I did not know this was a roguelike going into this. I actually thought this was just like some kind of stealth game or something like that. Because a roguelike, for the unaware, denotes a very specific genre of games, which are generally very difficult. They feature randomly generated dungeons and items. They're called roguelikes because there's this old tile-based game called Rogue, hence being like that makes it a roguelike. Mm-hmm. There's pretty much no major releases for roguelikes because they're so difficult they'd never make any money because no one would buy them. They're kind of like a hardcore subgenre online.
I must have not played it long enough to relate to what you're saying, because the only two buttons for interacting seemed like X and C or Z and X or whatever. You had like two buttons you could interact with the environment, right?
Yeah, and running into stuff is attacking.
Okay, well, I kind of just bum rushed for like the three layers of dungeon that I did, and I just like tapped those buttons as I ran, and I never died.
The other thing about roguelikes, too, is that most of them have permadeath, which this does. Once you die, you can't reload or anything. You're just dead forever. I am not really a big fan of roguelikes because I don't really like randomization, and that's pretty much their biggest selling point. However, despite my general lack of interest in roguelikes, I actually really like a lot of the subsystems in this. They kind of hit on things that I have, like, a coolness boner for in games. That, like, oh, that's there! That's really awesome, even if it's totally minor. You have a persistent summon, which I think is awesome. I love summons in stuff, especially if, like, they're independent of your main character. It's got some really cool kind of armor and weapons. Like, I know I got a cloud of flies that acted as armor for me, which was really cool. That's one of those really dark kind of stylistic things. It's neat to see new aesthetic sensibility and stuff that's not just your standard leather armor, plate armor, chain armor, evil demon armor.
I equipped flies.
But the main flaw that I think that I have, and this could just be because I'm not experienced with it, is that it's in real time, but your menu system isn't in real time, and it's a pretty menu-heavy game for doing stuff. Like, you don't really have a lot of quick move options in terms of, like, oh, I want to do another summon. Oh, no, you have to go into, like, 5 sub-menus to do that. And that's probably partly a stylistic choice, so you actually have to plan out stuff well. Like, obviously, Dark Souls and Demon Souls are games that do that, and I enjoy both of those. But those really aren't very menu-heavy games. It's like, you can equip whatever spells you want, and then you have access to them all the time, you know, like that. But anyway, it's neat enough. This apparently still has a bit of a player base to it, so you could check it out if you're into roguelikes and your hard RPG-type games.